Good morning, everyone. Let's get back in here. How we doing today? Happy Wednesday, May 24th. I hope everybody's having a great morning, a great week, a great month so far. We've got a full day packed for you today. We got a Velocity of Money class that will be going from 10 till 4 today. I just sent out another quick reminder invite for you this morning. I sent one out yesterday of registration for that. Let's just go ahead and let me show you what that looks like. You've got an email. The email I sent out has got your registration. Here's what you need to do. Go ahead and register by email to secure your seat. You'll email them. They'll send you a link that you can go ahead and pay the $2.99. And they'll take care of that. You got a nice little flyer here. A lot of the information you're going to get from the Velocity of Money is learn how the YADA method can change your business, help your past clients use equity to fund retirement, get yourselves fundable for retirement. Hear from one of his partners, the CPA, on how to use an S Corp to reduce your tax burdens personally. Go deep with the power of four and understand the aspects of that. This will no doubt make you a resident expert on all aspects of real estate and finance. It will really help to expand your knowledge. Learn how to invite clients to the next boot camp, because they're going to be doing a boot camp in June. June in the 20th. I can't remember exactly the date, but they're going to be doing a class for your consumers to invite them in so that you can use this method to try and earn more business. Let's see, the boot camp is $299. You will get refunded that $299 the first loan opportunity that they get that closes. The seats are going to be limited. We are going to be doing it live in the Apollo Beach training room, and then we'll also have it onto a Zoom that you only be invited in and allowed in if you have a registration and have paid the $299. So Velocity of Money will be today, 10 to 4. Think this is something that can really shift and help change a lot of your businesses, or at least your talk tracks, to really help you to expand your knowledge on investments, on equity, on just kind of creating wealth through real estate. If you need some more of those talking points, or for yourself, if you really want to understand that a little more, great opportunity. So why don't we continue to use that, get your registrations in. Again, it's going to start at 10 o'clock here live in the training room. It's always better if you're in person. You get more engaged. Typically on Zoom, you tend to zone out. You're much more likely to pick up your phone, walk out of the room, get distracted by something. So make the commitment to make a change in your business. All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit about we're going to talk a lot about mindset, attitudes, intentions, energy, focus. I'm going to kind of wrap all of this together. Why? Because we're coming to the end of the first half of the year. So we're almost at the end of the first full 6 months. I'm sorry, first full 5 months. So we got month 6 coming up in June. So we're coming up to the end of the first half of the year. So what we need to do is we need to kind of refocus ourselves. We need to make sure that our intentions are clear. We need to make sure that our mindset is focused. And we need to make sure that we have some action items that are in play for the second half of the year if you want that to be a very productive part of the year. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. So I would challenge you to do something a little bit different. If you want a little bit more, let's do a little bit more. So I just want to get you refocused. I want to give you some different things to think about, to kind of refocus your thoughts, to refocus your mindset, and just some reminders. So I'm going to jump in here and let's just go ahead and get started. In order for you to kind of create the life that you want, you have to start telling yourself and creating that life and narrative of the life that you want. You got to be able to control your own narrative. We say this all the time about your consumers and about the real estate market: control the narrative. We have to know what is being said all over the place and then be able to control those narratives. If you are not controlling the narrative of your mind and your life and your business and your outcomes, then you will be dictated by all of the things that are going on around you. It's not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens to you. And a lot of times the things that happen to you, when you start to react, you're basing them on everything else and everything else that you can't control. We have to start to, in essence, in short, we have to change your story. If your story right now is, well, I've never sold $1 million home. I'd love to sell $1 million home, but I haven't been in that market, and the people aren't really going to accept me as well. And there's already this agent that's in there who's already been selling all of those. They're more likely to get the business. They're going to get this. They're doing that. I'm not the person that's going to get that. Whether you fully believe that or not, if that's the narrative going on in your head, that's the narrative, and that's going to dictate some of your actions and reactions and some of your focus, mindset, and energy. So we have to start to control your narrative and control your story. And the easiest way to get a different outcome is to change the story of your life. My story, I've always had from before, from being younger, going through the upbringing and having the parents and the things that I've been, has always been, it's always about the one thing I did wrong and not the 9 things I did right. I was a star student. I graduated 3rd out of over 300 kids in my high school. I got straight A's, National Honor Society. I was an athlete. I was involved in all the correct extracurriculars. My parents owned businesses. I was the star employee that everybody loved working with me because I worked my ass off. I was all of these things. And I was always reminded of what wasn't being done, what you didn't do. So the story that I always told myself was, you have to be very aware, very astute. You have to try harder than everybody else, because if you screw one thing up, it doesn't matter about anything else that you did right. This one thing that you screwed up will dictate everything. And that was just a narrative that I held with me and carried with me. So I became very defensive over certain things. Whenever I would do something wrong, instead of facing what was done wrong and trying to make it right and make it better, I'd become defensive over it. I didn't do that. It wasn't me. I was only trying to do this. And you start to create reactions and everything. So if you want a different story, the story that you have to change is that one. And how do you change that? By just starting to tell yourself, catching your thoughts. Here, I'll show you real quick. I shared this the other day. 3 C's of mastering your thoughts. Catch your thought. The minute that you start to recognize that there's thoughts, become aware of the thoughts that are going through your head. Catch the thought. Catch it. Stop it. Hey, I noticed that this thought is coming into my head. Identify the thoughts that cause the emotions. We think a thought, we create an emotion. Thoughts become things. Thoughts become things very, very quickly and very easily. Let me show you this. Your thoughts become things by this path right here. Your thoughts create a feeling. You feel a certain way based on the thought that you have. Somebody did something, like, I think that was rude. And now we start to have a feeling of dislike for that person, or a feeling of being hurt by that person. So thoughts create a feeling. Your feelings become words and actions. Based on the way that I feel, I start to act a certain way. Start to say certain things. Then once I say certain things and act a certain way, those actions start to become habits. If I feel a certain way and say a certain thing and act a certain way, and I do that repeatedly, your body starts to become used to those things. You start to create a habit. Now, all of a sudden, where you just had a bad day, that bad day turns into a little bit of a mood, and you just happen to be in a bad mood for a little bit. And that bad mood, if it persists, can become a personality trait, which is basically a habit. You have a habit of reacting and acting a certain way. And those habits starts to produce things in your life, reactions, outcomes in your life, and a belief. Thoughts become things. It all starts with a thought, creates those emotions. And here's the crazy part. If I have a thought that makes me feel that that person was being rude, they don't like me, it's hurting my feelings, and that creates a feeling, that feeling just creates more thoughts in line with that feeling. And then it just starts compounding on top of each other. And then you start into that cycle. So thoughts become things, and those thoughts become things. So that's why you want to catch those thoughts. If you can catch those thoughts that cause the emotions, then we think a thought and create an emotion, and we feel that emotion creates thought in line with those emotions. And then that cycle just keeps going. Once you catch that thought, then check the thought. Most times we accept our thoughts as truth. You think something, you just automatically believe that it's 100% true. What if I told you that there are multiple truths about the same scenario that happens in your life, and every single one of them is true? Just because you think one thing is true doesn't mean that it is, because somebody else thinks something else and it is 100% true to them. We've all seen a movie before, and we love the movie, but other people that saw the movie said the movie was horrible. Which one is true? To that person, movie was horrible and it was true. And it scared me. It was not really entertaining. And so that's a true thought to that person. Somebody else thinks it's a great movie. That is a true thought for that person. So all of the thoughts that go on in this world are true. So if they're all true, why don't you pick one that makes you feel good? If you get to select your thoughts, why not select a thought that makes you feel good? Why would you select thoughts that put you down a different path that isn't going to get you to where you want to be? So check the thought. How helpful is that thought? Ask better questions about that thought. Is this really true? Did that person really mean that? What else could this mean? What else could it mean because the person talked to me that way, because the person said that? Just start to become aware of what you're thinking about and ask yourself questions about your thoughts rather than accepting them as carte blanche 100% truth, because there are plenty of truths surrounding one person's actions. And just because you thought it doesn't mean that it's 100% true. But the drunk monkey believes that every thought that you have is truth, 100% truth. Then once you catch the thought, check the thought, then you can change it. Change the thought to a healthier thought. Doesn't have to be a positive thought. I'm not telling you you have to be all positive thinking guru. Just can't be negative. You have the ability to select your thoughts. Every thought that you have the ability to select them, because there are multiple truths about the same circumstance that happen. You get to select the one that you want. The first one that comes to your mind is not the 100% automatic truth. There are plenty of other truths that can come into play. You just have to be able to select one. So a neutral thought is a good way to start. It doesn't have to be positive. It shouldn't be negative. It just needs to be neutral. What is the truth? This person did this. What could it mean? It could just mean they're having a bad day. That could be a 100% neutral thought about what happened. So catch your thoughts, check your thoughts, and change your thoughts, because thoughts become things. And if we can manage some of our thoughts a little bit better, if we can catch some of our thoughts, recontextualize some of our thoughts, and create a new thought, because you get to select your thoughts, we actually start to get to select your feelings, which means you start to select your actions a little bit better and create different habits. And when we create different habits, we start to produce different beliefs about ourselves, and we get different outcomes. And then just also remember that your thoughts and feelings are very powerful magnets. When you have a thought, there's an electrical impulse inside your brain. It's an electrical impulse. It goes off. There's an electrical charge inside your brain that creates these thoughts. It's a synapse between different neurons and nerve cells. It's an electrical thing inside your brain. Once you start creating the emotions are magnetic. They are the thing that starts to draw in, attract, and repel everything else that's going on around you. Everybody walked into a room before? Anybody's ever walked into a room and said, something that just feels off. I just don't like the feeling in here. And you felt like you literally had to brush off some of that feeling that you had. You ever felt like that? Anybody ever felt like that? Kind of like when you just walked into the room this morning? Or did you have a better thought when you walked in? You walk into a room and you just felt welcomed. You felt at peace. Everything felt good. Those are the magnetic charges, the attract and repel. Thoughts become things, which become emotions, and that's where you start to attract and repel things. That's where you start to get different outcomes. And like the power of gravity, the law of attraction and the law of vibration never fails. So everything is vibrating, everything is energy. Those feelings, those emotions, those thoughts are all vibrations that you are sending out and receiving. That's what you're feeling. And let me show you this quick video. Oh, I got to get through a 4-second ad of this guy saying he's fat.
Fat. It's a shirt. Look at Nate.
There you go. This is the law of vibration. Really simple. These are two tuning forks, two tuning forks at the same resonance. You hit one, because they are tuned to the same vibration. You hit one, it starts to vibrate. The other one automatically starts to vibrate when it's close enough in there and they are tuned at the same resonance. People act the same way. Picture this as two people. One person over there has this feeling and has this emotion of happiness and gratitude and love and joy. And there are now studies that show when you are full of love, energy, joy, and all of those wonderful gratitude type feelings, that energy can emanate off of you up to 6 to 9 meters wide. And if you have two people, one of them that's got all of this love and emotion and gratitude, and they are resonating and vibrating with that, somebody right next to you can feel that. And they can start to resonate and to be lifted up by those same feelings. But they have to be open to it. That's why law of vibration. When two things are resonating at the same vibration, it gets amplified and magnified. So if you are able to open your mind a little bit, in fact, keep those bad vibes over there. Vibes only, absolutely. If you are able to open your mind and your awareness a little bit and realize that you might not be resonating or vibrating at a positive attitude, love type frequency, maybe you can make some small changes by catching your thoughts, checking your thoughts, and then changing them to try to change that vibration. And from there, you can start to have more of an impact on other people around you. The other thing I wanted, where's the one? I'm going to talk about, because once that comes into play, then you start to be able to attract and repel things when you're able to catch your thoughts, change your thoughts, realize where your vibration and your energy is. So I'm taking I'm doing a course with Matthew Ferry. A lot of you are doing it too. It's the art of magnetism. That's really is talking about attracting and repelling certain things. And I'm not going to put it onto a slide because this is his course. These are his steps, but I'm going to briefly talk about these steps with you to show you how that art of magnetism, you can start to take control of it. And this is what he teaches. And it's very powerful, and these things work. So the art of magnetism, he says there's 8 steps to it. And your 8 steps for the art of magnetism start off with setting an intention. Set an intention. You have to know what you want. Everything starts with knowing what you want, knowing what you're after, knowing what you're going to do, knowing what your outcome is, knowing what that intention is. How many of you online or in the room have an intention, a very clear 100% absolutely focused intention, knowing exactly what you're going after, exactly what you want, and you can clarify it without question? Hands? No hands? No? How long you been working on it? Yeah, first intention completed yesterday. It's excellent. And if I asked you to explain and state that intention, can you give it to me clearly? Okay. So after 20 years, you want to close down another business so you can put all of your focus into this one. Good. And after yesterday, that is done. Yep. Now you feel the ability that you are clear on that intention. Once we do that, now we can clear ourselves with some other intentions. So I would ask you to focus on those intentions, on what you're going to create. What is my intention? So what was that intention? We want to close this. Rewind just a small amount. We want to close. My intention is to close that business down to create absolute 100% clarity and my focus to build the life that I want, using real estate as the avenue, as the vessel that's going to bring me more income, more freedom, and more ability to have control of my life. Instead of I want to or I will, it is, this is my intention and this is what I am creating. Already stepping into it. I own it. I do it. This is what I am. So how many other people online, if you could raise your hand or say yes, how many of you have an intention that's that clear? That would be along the lines of, my intention is to close down this other business to create absolute 100% clarity and focus on my real estate business, to make that the vessel that creates wealth, abundance, financial security, to be able to live the life that we've always wanted and create all of the outcomes that we want. How many of you have that level of clarity that you can spout that off and you have it written down and you'll say it the same way every single time? And now, if you don't, there's nothing wrong with that. I would just say that's the level of clarity that you want to get to. That's the level of clarity you want to get to with the things that you're doing. Because if you have that level of intention, that level of focus, that level of clarity, there's nothing else that can get in the way, because somebody else will say anything and said, well, no, that doesn't align with my intention. My intention is to do this. And I will attract all of the things that are in line with that. That might be something that I can explore, and let me see if it'll fit into that. It doesn't fit into that, or I could do this. That's something different. And so setting an intention, that's the first step. Set an intention, the art of magnetism. You want to attract things, you want to be a magnet for the things that you want, set the intention. If you don't know what you want, you don't know what you're attracting. Number two, keep doing what you're doing and give the gift. The law of gratitude, the law of reciprocity. If I give something, I get something back. There's always that balance, the yin and yang. If I give something, I get something back. So keep doing what you're doing and give the gift. It doesn't matter if you're going to get something back. That's not your focus. Your focus is, I'm going to give. I'm going to give the gift. I don't know what's coming out on the other end. This is my intention to do this, and this, and I'm going to come in contact with a lot of people that I've got this gift that I can give to. And the more that I give of this gift, the more I know I will get in return, because that is a law of nature. I know that's going to happen. I've got tons of value that I can provide. I'm going to continue to be the most valuable person in all of these people's lives, and I will give the gift of my knowledge, my expertise, my awareness, and my ability to be present in their life as a real estate analyst, a real estate consultant, a real estate agent, or just a great friend. Just continue to give the gift. Give that gift. Give the gift of your love. Give the gift of your gratitude. Give the gift of your presence. Give the gift of your knowledge. Continue to give the gift. Do what you're doing and give the gift. And you will continue to draw those things back. You've heard plenty of stories of people who, look, Lauren, I don't know if you're online, but she tells the story of how one of her friends became ill and they had a GoFundMe, and she was hesitant to do anything with it, but then she made a decision. And she said an intention that I'm going to give and give and give, and I'm going to give as much as I can to this person to help and give them much love, much money, and everything I can. She went on to GoFundMe, said, I'm going to find the highest donation and I'm going to double it. She found the highest donation that was there, doubled it, and gave without any expectation of anything in return. She just wanted to give as much of a gift as she could. And she did that. And within 2 weeks after that, she ended up getting 3, 4, 5 leads that were all $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 leads, because she gave without any expectation of anything in return. She gave to everybody she came in contact with and just wanted to show and shower them with love. So set an intention, keep doing what you're doing, and give the gift. Number 3, release your attachment to how. Doesn't matter how. And here's something even more powerful. The more you attach to how you think things are supposed to go, the more you're resistant to how it's actually supposed to go and what the outcome is going to be. The more you try to have too much 100% control over the outcome and the steps and how it's going to happen, and you try, no, it's got to be this way because it was that, and if I did this, that's going to happen, and I can't do that because this person's going to think this, and if I need to do this, I need to make sure that I'm right here in line with that. The more you try to take control of the how, you're actually resisting the real way that it's supposed to happen, the actual destiny, if you want to call it that, the actual outcome of the way it was supposed to happen. So release your attachment to how it's supposed to happen. I don't care how it's supposed to happen. The way that you think of how it's supposed to happen may be the hardest way possible. There might be an easier way. It might be something as simple as, I'm going to continue to give the gift to everybody that's around me, and one of those people is going to have that opportunity for me when I thought I was going to have to take this class, talk to this many people, go over here, show this many houses, do on this many appointments, make sure I pay this much for these leads, go through the steps, do all of these things, when all it took was one person that was going to be able to give you the value that you needed to get all of the things that you wanted. That happened to me. I had an intention. I would wake up. I don't even realize I was doing these things, but I would wake up and I would go for a walk every morning. I would be focused on gratitude, and then I would focus on my goals. I had the intentions. I knew what I wanted, how it was going to happen. And I just filled myself with all of that. And then I would go out and I just started trying to provide as much value as I can. I started handing out flyers inside my neighborhood and knocking on doors and talking to people. One person wasn't home, knocked on the door, no answer, put a flyer, walked away. Kept going down doors. About 20 minutes later, I get a phone call and I answer it. And it's one of the doors I just knocked on. And she's a married woman, but she was home alone with her young baby. And she said, I really need you to come back. We really need to sell our home. When can you come back by and help us out with this? Talk to this person. We end up listing and selling their home. They don't end up buying another home. They end up renting one for the time being. But the person that she was using as a mortgage broker ended up becoming my investor that I have a very good working relationship right now and do a lot of business with. She ended up buying a home, and he really enjoyed, after they rented a home for a year, they ended up buying a home, came back to me. I worked with him and with them and the mortgage broker. He loved the way that I handled the seller, the title company, who was an attorney on the other side. And it was a whole mess, but he loved the way that I handled everything. And he gave me a couple opportunities with some of his business. And then from there, it turned into multiple businesses, multiple investments. I use a lot of his workers who do a lot of work when I do certain renovations, rentals, things like that. And he does all of my personal loans. So I've built a great relationship. When all I did was set an intention to do something and I just showed up, my idea of how was not finding this one guy who was going to help me build this business and get a certain number of deals. My idea was in the beginning, is we're going to have to do this and this and this and this, and I'm going to talk to all these people and do that. And my idea of how was going to be much harder. And when I released all of that and I just started taking action and giving that gift, the outcome came. So set an intention, keep doing what you're doing and give the gift, release the attachment to how, because it doesn't matter how. Then number 4, tell everyone what you're manifesting. Now there's multiple different thoughts in this. Some people have said, keep your mouth shut, put your head down and just get to work. You don't need to tell everybody about everything. Let your actions show what you're doing. And that's fine. But if I'm going to give the gift and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to release all of my attachments to how, I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing, because as I'm giving the gift to everybody that's around me, somebody might be that one person. One of you might be the person that can help me or has a connection to someone that can help me get to my next step. So I'm going to tell everybody what I'm manifesting. I'm going to talk to everybody about that. I'm going to tell everybody, well, I'm manifesting. I'm working on this. You don't have to say manifesting. Some people think you're a little crazy, but just tell them what you're doing. I'm doing this. This is what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing. Do you happen to know anybody that might be able to help? Or is that something that might be of value to you? No, it's really not. But I do have a guy that I know that's doing this. You never know how that may happen. Release your attachment to how. Don't worry what other people are going to think, because your journey is your journey. It's not theirs. One of the quotes I love, I said yesterday, was just show up and be yourself, because everybody else is taken. Don't try and be anybody else. Show up and just be yourself. Everybody else is taken. Number 5. So after you set an intention, give the gift and keep doing what you're doing. Release your attachment to how. Tell everyone what you're manifesting. Number 5, connect deeply and step over no one. This is just a no-brainer. Connect deeply. Have a true intention to connect with as many people as you can. Seek to understand. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. If you seek first to understand and make a deep connection with everybody and step over no one, you have no idea who that one person is that's going to be the one that's able to help you. There's plenty of people who have called or have got leads on a mobile home for like a $60,000, $70,000 mobile home, wanting to pay cash for it. And they end up buying $700,000, $800,000 homes or multiple homes over a few years. because they were looking for that one home. And what I was doing is I'm really trying to help out my aunt or my uncle or my mom or somebody. I needed to put them into this mobile home, get them down to Florida for the time being, because they really need to be closer to this, around these people. Once I'm able to do that and then sell my home up here in New York, New Jersey, Chicago, I'm coming down to Florida and I'm going to be buying a home that I want. I want it to be my forever home on the water over here on this place. So you never know what that's going to be. So connect deeply, step over no one. Number 6, play the perfect game. There's number 6, number 8, I think align a lot. Play the perfect game. You have to start asking yourself how everything that's happening in this moment is perfect exactly the way that it is. Because if you think that there's a problem in it, you're automatically resistant to things. If I accept that everything is happening in its perfect manner, the way that it's supposed to be, and I accept everyone and everything, fully accept everyone and everything that happens as that is, it is. It's not good, it's not bad, it is. It's perfect, it's the way that it is. And I look for the perfection in that. You start to train your brain to stop looking for problems and start looking for the beauty in everything. Start looking for things to be grateful for in everything, and stop creating a problem out of everything. So play the perfect game. How is this scenario perfect? How is this exactly what I need and exactly what needs to happen in this moment? There's a lot of value that you can find in that. Number 7, ride the waves. Learn to ride the waves. If you're surfing, you're looking for that perfect wave. You have to learn that every time you go out is not going to be the perfect wave. And you have to learn to ride the waves, the big waves, the little waves, the fun waves, the shitty waves. You have to learn to ride those waves. You have to learn to ride the wipeouts. You have to learn to ride the long ones all the way in. You have to learn to ride the last one of the day. You have to learn to ride those waves. They're not all going to be great. They're not all going to be bad. You have to learn to ride them, experience them, live in them. And last one, you always get what is perfect for your life. Along those same lines of play the perfect game, you'll always get what is perfect for your life. You need to continue to focus on that. How do I create this perfect life within everything that's happening? Because these are the things you're dealt. These are the opportunities and the things that you are dealt. So you have to find the perfection in that and be able to create from that. It doesn't mean you can't create new things, but you have to find the perfection in everything that's there. So what else did I want to talk about? And become things. There's that. So how do you learn to vibrate at a higher frequency? How do you learn to raise your vibration, raise your awareness, raise that attraction field that you have? There's those 8 steps, but there's also some simple things that you can focus on throughout your day. Gratitude. Gratitude is one of the quickest ways that you can amp up and raise your vibration. If you are in a bad mood, if you are having a bad day, if you are having bad moments, look for the perfection in everything in that moment and be grateful for it. Focus on what you have to be grateful for. Simple things. I'm so grateful for my health. I'm so grateful for my body. I'm so grateful that I was able to stand up and walk on my 2 feet this morning, because there's plenty of people that can't and don't. I'm so grateful for this beautiful day that's outside. I'm so grateful for my children. I'm so grateful for the love that we share. I'm so grateful for simple things like hugs. I'm so grateful for that look that I get from certain people from across the room, where I know that they believe in me. I know that there's someone who trusts and believes in me. So what are you grateful for? Focus on the things that you have to be grateful for. You all have something to be grateful for. Every single one of you has something to be grateful for. And if you train yourself to start thinking of those things and then start finding the perfection in everything, how this is perfect for this moment, you start to raise your vibration. Because what's the alternative? This sucks. I feel so tired. I can't believe that happened. Look at all this traffic. Why is it so cloudy outside? And that does not raise your awareness. That does not raise your vibrations and your frequencies. That does not do any of that. It drags you down. And then when you get around other people and people start to feel that and see that, and you start creating more resistance to the things rather than attracting those things. Love, everybody's always been, we've been there before. You just feel, you can feel like you're vibrating when you feel that intense amount of love flowing through you. Generosity is another way. Give the gift. That's why I say give the gift. Meditation and breath work. Take a moment to breathe. Focus on your breathing, focus on a meditation. Do a quick 5-10 minute meditation of something and just listen to something. You don't have to clear your head. Thoughts are going to come and go. Just release them. Forgiveness. Eat high vibe food. Those are all natural foods, organic foods, fruits and vegetables, things like that, things that are living. Eat more of those foods. Reduce, eliminate alcohol from your body. Alcohol, I hate to say it, I know we all enjoy in a little here and there, but alcohol is one of the things that is going to drag you down and drag your vibration down. Think positive thoughts. I would even go one step further and say think neutral thoughts. See things as they are. Practice seeing things as they are, not worse than they are. So see things as they actually are. You may say, oh my God, this is horrible, this is the worst, but well, why don't you see it for what it actually is? See it how it is, not worse than it is. And then practice trying to see the perfection in it. Practice trying to see how it's better than what you think that it is rather than worse. You have to start training your brain to do that. You have the possibility and opportunity to do that. The drunk monkey is always trying to keep you safe. The drunk monkey in your mind is always trying to keep you from falling into another ditch, that's keeping you from trying to run into this axe murderer that's behind this door. They're always trying to protect you. That's what your drunk monkey is doing. It's trying to keep you safe, not successful. You have to be able to catch that thought, stop it. You need to be able to change the thought and replace it with something different that's going to create a different outcome. Otherwise, you're going to continue to get the same things you've always got. Simple way, go for a walk outside. Walking outside, if you go to the beach or you go out into an open field and you take your shoes off and you walk with your bare feet on the ground, there's something called grounding. The earth has an electrical and a magnetic charge. And if you also are an electrical being too, so if you're walking on the grass barefoot and the sand barefoot, you start to ground yourself the same way electrical charges are. Simple things that can raise your vibration, raise your awareness. And I'll end with a couple thoughts and just kind of just to try and give you some different things to think about today. And we'll end there. We won't go too much longer because we'll be in a class from 10 till 4 with the velocity of money for those of you who are joining in. So I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up because I always start at the top. So I'm going to start at the bottom today. I will not be a product of my circumstances. I will be a product of my decisions. It's not what happens to you. It's how you react to what happens to you. We've all seen different circumstances come to us, come to someone else, and have different reactions. You all have a choice. These are your decisions. You decide how you're going to react. You don't get to decide what comes to you. You can't control what comes to you. You decide how you're going to react. Don't let someone else's opinion of you become your reality. Les Brown is a motivational speaker. Les Brown has a twin. And his twin was when he was in school, in high school, his twin was the smart twin and Les Brown was the dumb twin. So Les in school would always tell himself and say that he is the dumb twin. They call him DT, the dumb twin. He was in a class one day and this speaker asked him, well, he was in a class one day, but he wasn't supposed to be in that class. He was there meeting someone and they were going to go to a different class. The speaker gets up and says, hey, I need someone to come to the board and write out this equation. And he picks up Les and Les says, oh, I can't do that, sir. He says, I need you to come up to the front of the class. I need you to write this equation. He goes, I'm sorry, I can't do that, sir. I'm not supposed to be in this class. He goes, I'm Les Brown. I'm DT. And he says, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm Leslie Brown. My twin is Wesley Brown. He's a smart one. I'm DT. I'm the dumb twin. And he said, sir, don't you ever say that about yourself again. Do never let someone else's opinion of you become your reality. And he said from that moment on, it just really resonated with him because he realized that as he told himself and accepted that he was the dumb twin, he was creating a reality that he was the dumb twin, and he couldn't do certain things like that. He went up onto the board and the teacher helped him through, and he was able to write out that equation, and he was able to understand that equation. And from there, he said, he goes, everything just started to change, and that teacher changed my life. Here's another one. I always wanted to be somebody, and now I realized I should have been more specific. That's the art of magnetism. Set an intention. You get to select and decide what you want to be, who you want to be, how you want your outcomes to be. You know, you've always wanted to be somebody, but you never got specific enough to really pick out exactly what you want. You'll go into a store and pick out the shirts you want, the jeans you want, the shoes you want, create an outfit. If you took that much time to create your next steps in your life and really select the things that you want and get specific with it, you can really make a huge change and huge strides in your life. Motivation doesn't last. Well, neither do baths. That's why you have to do it every day. So every day you need to be doing things that are going to continue to raise your vibration, raise your awareness. Yes, you should have taken a bath today. I know he just reminded you. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. Too many people limit themselves and feel that they are capped at a certain place. You always have the ability to become more than you are, which means you can always have more than you've got right now. Experience is a hard teacher because it gives you the test first and the lesson later. Don't let your yesterday take up too much of today. There's two specific times that you can do absolutely nothing about. There's things you can do absolutely nothing about, and those are tomorrow, yesterday. Can't do anything about them, can't control them. You can only control this present moment. But we let too much of our yesterdays take up too much of today, and too much of our tomorrows take up too much of our today. You need to take some time and create the life that you want. Set your intentions, give the gift, release your attachment to Hal. Walk through those processes. That's all these are trying to do, is to try and get you to forget about all the crap that's happened and all of the anxiety about the future. Step into this moment and create the things that you want, rather than being and feeling like a victim of the circumstances. Success usually comes to those that are actively looking for it. If you're not looking for success, what does it? Seek and ye shall find. Whatever you're looking for, you're going to find. With that, I'm going to end just a few minutes early. We'll go 15 minutes early. That way we can get prepared. We got the Velocity Money starting at 10 o'clock today. That's going to be live in the Apollo Beach Training Room, plus on Zoom. So please show up for that. If you need anything else, I would like you to start focusing on your intentions for the second half of the year. So do a quick recap. Where are you right now in your business? Where are you right now with the goals and intentions you set in the beginning of the year? What have you achieved? Where have you got? And then start creating some intentions for the second half of the year and start working on those. If you need help with that, please feel free to reach out. And I will let you all go. You guys have a happy Wednesday, May 24th.